Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Jersey Comic Crew. We are talking WandaVision episode 2. Going to do a breakdown and Easter egg review, so come on inside to Westview.
Hi guys, Rob and Chris here from the Jersey Comic Crew, and as Chris just said, we are going to do a breakdown of what happened in the second episode, and more importantly, especially what we're finding in WandaVision, a breakdown of the Easter eggs, because they're going to show us what potentially can happen in the show. This is your last spoiler warning. I'm going to go into a quick recap of what happened in the episode, and then we're going to touch upon all those little Easter eggs. I hope you are ready. So this episode, it still follows the 50s time style, but like now I feel like we're taking a step forward. It seems like we're in the 60s, and the reason I say that is because we have a animated intro for the WandaVision quote unquote show, right?
And Rob, that's one of your favorites. That intro, that's Hanna-Barbera.
It is.
That's the Hanna-Barbera Bewitched style. Rob and myself are big Hanna-Barbera fans.
It's still a sitcom style. Starts off, they're in bed. They hear a big, loud bang. They're both are scared. Wanda closes the beds together, still with the Bewitched style. The plot of this overall episode is they have to perform a magic act, right? For the whole town, for a fundraiser for the children. That's all it is. Not a lot of details in this, and there's a reason for that. It's because, Wanda is somewhere or thinking of something, so she doesn't have everything else. The house is also different. It's something to notice. So it looks like maybe a new set for the new time period, perhaps. So after the rehearsal of the fake magic, they both go their separate ways. Vision is going to a neighborhood watch meeting, while Wanda goes for like a housewives meeting who are running the whole charity for the children. While Vision goes out to the neighborhood watch, he accidentally eats a piece of gum, which goes inside and gums them all up. Which
literally
for the rest of the episode, exactly, he acts like he's drunk because he's not moving at full function. Wanda, this is where things start to get a little weird. There's this head housewife in charge of everything that everybody's afraid of, Dottie. At the meeting, while Dottie's pretty much bullying everybody, Wanda's talking to Geraldine, another housewife here, who's not really sure why she's there. And they're just talking back and forth. And we can see a friendship and a bond start to grow. Then the radio starts going off, and Dottie's like, "What are you doing? You're doing this." And we hear, I believe it's Agent Wu trying to talk to Wanda, say what's going on. Dottie breaks a glass in her hand, starts to bleed, turns red, and Dottie says, "You know how you fix bloodstain? You do it yourself," and walks away. Very weird.
Very odd.
So now we go back to the talent show. Wanda and Vision are supposed to do their magic act, but Vision, because of the gum, is acting all kind of funny and drunk. He's just flying around, phasing and doing all these superhuman acts. Wanda is creating the illusions and the props essentially to explain away what's going on. Vision flies away. She creates rope so that way the audience believes her. At the end of the talent show, Dottie says, "Thank you so much. You guys have been wonderful. This is all for the children." They get back home and they joke about them not having an anniversary, them not being married, not having rings. Wanda fashions them some new rings, and they joke saying the magic act was all for the children. Next thing we see Wanda is pregnant. After we see the pregnancy, Wanda goes outside, they hear a loud bang, and then somebody's coming up from a manhole, which is very spooky, and it's a guy in a bee suit. But as we can see in this episode, there's more and more of the real world, or at the very least, weird events that are happening. So the big payoff hopefully is coming within the next couple episodes. I wasn't... Again, like this was just like a fun sitcom, fun humor. I didn't love it, but I know that it's going to be a big payoff later, and
I think it will be.
Obviously, if this wasn't attached to the MCU, it was just like this, I would drop the show. But obviously, they're doing this to keep us in the dark for this big reveal, and I'm just hoping that it's worth it. Now, Chris, you're going to fill me and the audience and a lot of Easter eggs that's going to make some more sense of what happened in this episode. Am I right?
I will do my best, sir.
All right. What do we have?
So in the beginning, we have that awesome Hanna-Barbera style cartoon intro, which I immediately fell in love with. And there's a shot of Wanda walking through a grocery store, and there's a box of cereal called Wonder O's.
Oh, yeah, there was.
Yeah, and that kind of directly or indirectly at this point relates to Wonder Man, who is a character from Marvel. He's in the Avengers, and he's most known kind of being like Vision's brother. But
Also a lover of Wanda.
Also a part-time lover of Wanda. And he is kind of a guy who kind of goes into a coma for like 50 years, very like Captain America-esque, but has all these crazy like superhero powers. He's kind of like the classic superhero of Marvel. He was recently brought back about like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
So that was a kind of cool nod to him. And also Tom King's Vision book, which was like won all the Eisner Awards in comics, which is like the Oscars of comics. During the cartoon series, like he phases through the floor, which he does. There were dog bones in between all of the floorboards.
Yeah,
because
I remember
Vision was trying to live this normal life in the book, and he had like a dog.
that.
There was also the Grim Reaper like kind of logo thing in the background.
Yeah, what was that?
Grim Reaper is the big villain in the Tom King run of Vision, and we see like his like helmet scepter thingy. So that was kind of cool nods in that like cartoon sequence right off the bat.
Okay.
Then as we get into the show, we meet Geraldine for the first time, as Rob was talking about. And like you said, she has no idea why she's there. She like kind of doesn't really know her name in the beginning. She's like, "Oh, I'm Geraldine."
Yeah, she paused. Why was that pause for?
Because she's actually in real life Monica Rambeau. She's all grown up Monica Rambeau.
Oh my god, I didn't even realize that's the same person.
Yeah, because we see her later on with the afro in the trailer.
Yes.
But that's in color, which I believe is the next episode because it's going to move from 60s to 70s.
We saw at the end of the episode
color.
Here that it changes the color.
Exactly.
Oh, so that's Monica Rambeau. Oh,
so that's
okay.
Monica Rambeau as an adult. The last time, obviously, we saw her, Rob and I talked about a couple weeks ago, where she was in Captain Marvel as the little girl, and now she is fully an adult.
Okay.
And we see her somehow got into Wanda's like dreamscape escape. The radio, because the radio, as we've seen in episode 1, we saw the commercial for the radio. We see the radio at the end of episode 1 talking to Wanda as well. And then Help Me Rhonda's on, and then immediately Jimmy Woo's doing the, "Hey Wanda, who's doing this to you? What's happening?"
Speaking of commercials, this commercial, it was for a watch, and it had a Hydra logo on it, right?
It did. It was for Stryker watches.
Correct.
Sorry, Strucker, not Stryker.
And
Strucker
also,
watches, yes.
This commercial, just like the last one, a lot of ticking. So I'm thinking ticking during the commercials is a trend.
Yes.
I don't know if the Hydra logo means anything more for the show, but I think the ticking is going to mean more than the actual commercials. I think the ticking is going to be a big thing.
I think they're both a big thing. I think the ticking means either to me, the first thing I'm thinking of is Sword has a certain amount of time to get her out of this before she's lost forever. I feel like the ticking is almost like a countdown clock.
Okay.
Where like if we don't get her out of this dreamscape, there's a chance she might be in there forever, or her powers will go nuts and like destroy half the planet.
I think so too.
And I think Hydra's a big thing because remember, this is all from trauma. Wanda is doing this all because of trauma she's dealt with in her life. And the first thing was Strucker and Hydra experimenting on her and her brother, which we see where they're in the cells back in Age of Ultron. That's how they get their powers, or that's how their powers are activated. And Strucker and Hydra are a huge thing in her past because also it's partially Hydra that relates to the cause of events of then Ultron is created and then her brother gets killed in that fight. So
yeah,
there's a whole lineage there. I don't think Hydra's going away fully because also we're getting the Baron and Falcon Winter Soldier.
Well, here's my question, because I'm assuming the Beekeeper is something. Is the Beekeeper like a representative of maybe Hydra trying to infiltrate Wanda's mind? Is that a thing?
So the Beekeeper is one of two things right now. The Beekeeper comes out of the manhole cover. He's actually got like bees swarming around him. He has a sword logo on the back of his suit.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Okay.
And so it could be Sword, but as far as I'm concerned, the second I see a Beekeeper suit in Marvel anything, I'm thinking AIM. I'm thinking Advanced Idea Mechanics.
Oh.
And also the aspect that Vision was working for this like random computer company in the first episode, and like for some reason the camera kind of went right onto the logo where it was like Computer Software Inc. or whatever. The aspect of Advanced Idea Mechanics isn't that far off with one, the Beekeeper suit, because all the AIM grunts are in those, right? In
yeah.
those, like hazmat-y suits. But also the fact that the sword logo's on it. Could this be the first kind of origin iteration of AIM in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Could it be a offset of S.W.O.R.D. or part of S.W.O.R.D. that they're like, hey, we're going to send you guys in to try and break through Wanda's escape, through the system to try and get in there and maybe get her out of there, because the second she sees him, she's like, nope, and switches it back.
I could see that. They could also be setting the seeds up for AIM, right? Because like Hydra came from S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Yeah. So maybe AIM from S.W.O.R.D. That could be something.
Yes. And Rob's talking specifically the MCU, not the comic books.
Correct.
Because
MCU.
Hydra came out of like a bunch of the S.H.I.E.L.D. people and was formed by the Red Skull, and they continued it. So this is totally a possibility that it has kind of the same thing. So
one of the things I did want to touch about, I see they have it listed here, and there's another part of it where the devil's in the details, and then we have Agnes, right? It's Agnes. Okay. We have Agnes at this PTA pool party meeting, right? She's drinking liquor, right? And she's also saying, you'd be surprised about the devil, or like where the devil is. So there's more hints to the devil that just further supports our theory that she's working for the main man. That I think.
Well, not Lobo, but
sorry. Not the main man as in Lobo. I mean the main man as in Mephisto, the devil.
Yeah, and there's big rumors that Mephisto is in Loki as well, and this trend to me is it might have been a throwaway line in the show, who knows, but I don't know, man. Like, to me, Kevin Feige is very specific about what's going on. I think Mephisto is this. Who knows? They may be doing something a little different, as we've seen, right? The show's very different. They may be doing something very different with Mephisto and villains, where the movies will have an overarching villain. Perhaps Mephisto is the like Disney Plus TV show villain that pops up in every show in Loki and maybe, I don't know how, but maybe in Falcon Winter Soldier, maybe in She-Hulk, Moon Knight I could totally say.
Maybe. But to get more thoughts on that and possible theories, you're going to have to tune in next time, because, guys, this episode is over. We want to hear your thoughts and comments down below, what you thought of this second episode of WandaVision. Luckily, we all got to watch 1 and 2 right back to back. Make sure you stay tuned, because very soon you're going to get our speculation video, what's going to happen for Season 3 and the future of WandaVision.
You said Season 3. You mean Episode 3.
Fuck! All right, I'm just redoing the whole ending because I don't know where to stop it.
Yeah.
To hear more thoughts about what we think is going to happen in the future of WandaVision, you're going to have to stay tuned to the next video, because in our next video, we're going to do a full breakdown and discussion on theories and possible futures for WandaVision Episode 3 and for the rest of the season.
Hey, guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up. Really helps the channel out a lot more than you guys know. And if you're brand new, subscribe. Turn those notifications on. You don't want to miss anything else. As Rob said, our next video, we're diving into theories and speculations. If there's anything you're like, how did they not talk about this? It's probably going to be in that next video, way more fleshed out. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That's Rob Moran. We're the Jersey Comic Crew, and we'll see you next time in Westview.